Well, good morning and welcome to all of you. I see some new faces that I haven't met before, so welcome. My name is Andreas Muscos, and I'm a Diamond Approach teacher. So I will be leading our webinar this morning. Before we start, I want to tell you I'm recording this this event. However, the recording is set in such a way that I'm the only one who is going to be showing on the video. So your privacy is protected. And also I've muted all of you and took away your capacity on Zoom to unmute. Because if you unmute and speak while I'm speaking, then you will appear on the video also. So instead of trying to edit that out, I decided let's make it safe. You cannot unmute yourselves until we get to the Q&C, and then we can do that. So this morning, basically we will be talking about awakening courage, which I think is a very interesting topic. Most of us think we know what courage is. And as I started exploring it more, I realized, oh, I didn't know as much about it as I thought. So anyway, we will start with a short guided meditation to settle, and then we will engage in our talk. And then I will give you an exercise to do to explore courage in your own personal life and experience. And then we'll take a break after that exercise. It will be incorporated into the exercise time, a little break. And then we'll come back for Q&C where we can have a discussion and an exploration. And then we'll also at the end, but any time during the Q&C, you can ask questions also about, in general, about the Diamond Approach as a spiritual teaching and the Diamond Heart 10, the group that is going on here in Colorado at this point, and how we are engaged with the courage in this teaching coming up in July. So, those of you who have your camera off, if you can turn your camera on also, it would be nice to be seeing faces rather than just boxes or pictures. If not, that's okay. So I would invite you to just close your eyes. We'll do our guided meditation now. Just close your eyes and sense your feet on the ground. And be aware of the awareness in your feet, the presence in your feet. And I find it useful if I can imagine this presence as some kind of a liquid. Could be water, could be thicker than that, like oil, that fills your foot, the right foot and then the left foot. So both feet filled with this liquid that is a presence, that is aware, has the capacity to be aware. We are talking about the different kind of awareness than the usual biological scientific perspective of the nerves, bringing the sensations to the brain, and that's how we are aware. Here we are talking about the spiritual presence that has a liquid form that fills your feet and allows you to be aware of all the different sensations there in your feet, whether it's the pressure of the weight of your feet on the floor, or maybe the sensations of your socks, if you are wearing socks on your feet, or shoes, or sandals, or slippers. Just let that liquid awareness begin to flow into your lower legs also. So the liquid awareness doesn't have to leave your feet. It can stay there, but kind of expand, get bigger, and flow into your lower legs also, making you aware of the sensations, experience in your legs as well, all the way up to your knees. Just take your time to explore and just be aware of the sensations on your skin or your muscles. Maybe there is a sensation of comfort or a sensation of discomfort. Whatever it is, just be aware of it. And gradually let that liquid attention, liquid awareness flow into your thighs as well. Now your awareness is broader, bigger. It is awareness of your whole legs, feet, and lower legs and thighs. Noticing the sensations there. Maybe you feel the pressure of your thighs as they touch the chair, the surface you are sitting on. Maybe you're aware of the upper part of your thighs if your hands are resting on your thighs, or the material of your garment touching your thighs. All the way into your hip joints, sensing your whole legs, feet, and hips. Then allow the liquid to flow also into your hands. Filling them with awareness also. If your hands are joined together, sensing the sensations of touching, hands touching, or if your hands are resting on your thighs. Just notice the sensations in your hands. The pressure of your hands on your thighs, or the sensation of the air, perhaps the temperature in your room. Whatever may be there, whatever experience, whatever sensation may be there. So you are sensing both legs and your hands as the awareness begins to flow also into your forearms. And let that liquid awareness flow into your upper arms as well. And into your shoulders. Flowing gently into your neck. Bringing awareness and presence into your neck as well. And from there, naturally flowing into your head. Filling your head with this liquid attention, liquid awareness. Becoming aware of the base of your skull, the occiput, the back of your head, the sides of your head, the top of your head, your forehead, your eyes and cheekbones and cheeks, your nose, your lips, and your jaw, the upper jaw, the lower jaw, the inside of your mouth, the tongue, and becoming aware of the inside of your whole head and the totality of your head and your face. Just allow that liquid awareness to flow down now, down your neck and throat into your chest, and upper back and shoulders. And let it flow down into the rest of your chest, all the way down to your diaphragm, all the way down where your ribs and the rib cage, including the middle back. And become aware of your heart, whatever sensations and feelings may be there. Just notice them and then just allow the awareness to flow into your abdomen, the upper belly, and your abdomen, and your lower back, all the way down into your pelvis. And now, if you want, let your breath become the main object of awareness, and then let the breath happen in your belly, moving the belly up and down, or however you experience it, expanding and then falling. And let the awareness become more and more concentrated, more and more focused, more and more condensed in the lower belly. Almost like the awareness flowing into the belly from the rest of your body, concentrating and focusing more and more in the belly with each breath. If your attention wanders away into thoughts or feelings or whatever, just allow it to come back to your belly gently without any efforting, without any conflict at all. Easy and natural gathering of the attention in the form of this liquid awareness in the belly, facilitated by the breath. Continually staying with or returning to the awareness in the belly with the breath. And slowly let your attention now begin to spread into your whole body again, becoming aware of your arms and your legs, becoming aware of the room where you are in now. When you are ready, you can open your eyes. I think a couple of people arrived after we started the meditation. So I will repeat for their sake that we are recording this webinar, but only I will appear in the recording. That's why I muted all of you so you don't inadvertently make a noise and come into the picture. And later in the Q&C, of course, when you speak, you will be recorded, but that part I will cut out and delete. And I will only post or make available the recording of myself of the talk to you and to the people who registered but couldn't come live to the webinar this morning. So again, welcome to all of you. Good to see you. And feel free to put your video on if you like. So, um, so basically, this morning I would like to speak about the process of awakening courage from the perspective, of course, of the Diamond approach, which is, as you probably already know, a spiritual teaching and the spiritual path. Uh, so for us, spiritual teaching and spiritual practice, spiritual path means really to discover what we are at our core, at our spiritual dimension. You know, we can call it our soul, our spirit, our true nature. Many terms we can use. It doesn't really matter what words we use. What matters is to really experience it, discover it experientially, what that presence is, what that spiritual true nature is, and be able to experience the qualities of that, and then integrate that into our daily experience so that we live our lives from a deeper, more grounded place. So one of the most important characteristic of a spiritual path is that it is an experiential discovery. It is not a belief system. So I would tell you my usual, when I teach, I, my usual injunction to everyone is don't believe anything I tell you. It is not about believing, it is about exploring and discovering for yourselves the truth. So the truth is not something that is written in any book. The truth is not something that anybody can speak, but rather it is something we can experience. So what is courage? It's a very interesting word. And those of you who have listened to me in the past know that I am very interested in words, interested in the origins of the words, the etymology of the words. And so I looked it up. Where does the word courage come from? Well, the dictionary says comes from the Old French courage, which means heart, innermost feelings, or spirit, which I thought was fascinating. Yeah? And this word comes from the Latin cor, C-O-R, which means heart. And that's where the Middle English word came from. The Middle English was actually courage, C-O-R-A-G-E. And it meant actually heart as the seat of feelings, spirit, and bravery. So in its earliest use, the word courage basically referred to the innermost qualities of a person, the seat of their emotions and spirit, emphasizing the heart as the center of one's true spiritual nature and core being. So in a way, we can say that courage reflects the older understanding that uh, courage is to act from the heart. with full presence and integrity. And usually, in these days, we think of courage as maybe uh, not acting out of fear, you know, but that is included in the acting with full presence and integrity. Because if we really feel our true feelings, and we feel what is true and what is important and what is valuable for us, we will act from that rather than from fear. So, from the diamond approach perspective, courage is actually a characteristic of one of the of our true nature. It is an inherent quality of our essential nature. So it has a feeling component to it, but it is not a superficial kind of an emotion or feeling. It has, and it's not even just deep, heartful kind of feeling. It goes deeper than that into the very nature of what we are, the true nature, our spiritual nature. So it is not something fixed, and it's not something that we acquire from the outside. It is an inherent quality of what we really are. So in the diamond approach, some of you may already know that, this spiritual nature that we endeavor to experience and integrate and live from has different dimensions. You know, there is the deepest dimension that we call the absolute, which is a complete mystery. And out of that mystery emerge everything. Everything emerges out of that mysterious nothingness, blackness, and manifests into different dimensions, coming all the way to the different qualities, essential qualities of our nature, and then the physical universe, of course. One of these essential qualities, there are many different essential qualities, and one of them is we usually use different colors because each color is essential quality that has a particular color, has actually different qualities to it. So the courage is related to the red essence. There is a red essence, a green essence, a blue essence, yellow essence, and so on. Huh? Like the yellow, the main characteristic of it is joy. The green, the main characteristic of it is compassion. The red essence, the main characteristic of it is strength. But other characteristics of the red essence have to do with, or are actually, aliveness, vitality, clarity, expansiveness, and courage. That's why I wore my red shirt this morning, one of my red shirts. So I like the red essence actually a lot because it's like sometimes, when if I am tired, all I need to do is, or one of the things I can do is invoke the red essence, do something that brings the red essence to the forefront. And suddenly I feel revitalized. I feel energized. I feel strong and awake and vital and alive again. Yeah. I remember a long time ago, I came to this path, this teaching back in 1988. So I remember in the early 90s, I met Hamid Ali, the founder of the Diamond Approach. And I remember one evening at our center in Boulder, the old center that burned down a few years ago. I remember I was talking with him, and he had given us a talk, and it was nighttime, and I was going to drive him to where he was staying. And I said, "You look tired." He said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Well, it's time to go to bed." But he said, "Most of the time, uh, I feel tired when I feel disconnected from the red essence." Yeah, that made me very curious. So I started experimenting with the red essence and tiredness. So courage is basically an expression of the strength of the expansiveness, in the heart. When we feel that aliveness and expansiveness in the heart, we also feel courageous. It's like the heart feels more engaged, more involved, and then we actually can engage more directly and more in a more alive, vivid, alive way in what we want to do and what we love and what we feel is true and right, instead of going with the fear. So, what does it mean to awaken courage? You know, you see, I didn't use the title acquiring courage or developing courage, but rather awakening courage, because it's not something we can acquire. It's not something we can develop. It's not a matter of, going somewhere and getting a new skill, you know, or buying a new skill, but rather it is a matter of awakening something that is already part of us. So, what I'm saying is that courage is already a characteristic of our spiritual nature, of our essential nature, but we have lost contact with it. So, in order to understand that, let me say a little bit about what happens when we are little. When we are born, of course, we are naturally our spiritual essential nature. That is a given, and you can see that in babies. You can see the vitality and unless they have some problem, unless they are sick or something, but babies are vital and awake and alive and curious, and you know they are naturally courageous. you know they don't really consider, they want something, they grab it. you know they go for it naturally. So they have a natural courage. You know, they don't know how to walk, but they stand on their own, and they figure out how to stand on their feet and start walking, and they fall, and they keep going. They're courageous in that way. Yeah. Or they want something, they grab it, they catch it, or if they are hungry, they start crying, screaming, get our attention. It's like, hey, feed me. They don't know how to say the words, but they express it in a very direct way. And you can feel the strength in their crying. It's like when a baby is hungry and starts crying, you better respond, you know, or your ears are gonna be in trouble. you know, you probably get a headache after if you keep going like that, not responding to the baby. You know, that's why I remember, an old friend of mine who was had indigenous uh, kind of heritage from the Native American people. He was telling me a story, and he said, in a family, he says, who is the king or the queen of the family? And I kept going, well, it depends on the culture. In some cultures it's the man, it's a king. In some cultures is the woman. Is a you know depends on the culture, patriarchal or matriarchal kind of society. He says, no, 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 the baby. When the baby speaks, everybody responds, everybody listens. This baby cries, everybody goes. Baby smiles, everybody smiles. You know, so there is a lot of truth to that, I think. But for me, what that actually expresses is that we respond. But why do we respond to babies in that way? Is because they are naturally their true nature. But gradually, we respond to the baby's demands and expression of their strength, whether it's crying or expressing anger or assertiveness or aliveness, but it goes beyond the baby. Now it's like a toddler, a 1 year old, and he's walking around and he's demanding and says some words, and the 2 year old, of course, saying no and trying to assert themselves. And a lot of us don't really respond very well to those kinds of feelings, qualities of the baby, the assertiveness and the strength and their anger. Yeah. So we disapprove of or even punish the baby for expressing those feelings, basically their strength and their courage. And so it becomes suppressed. You know, gradually we lose touch, we lose the connection, the direct connection, and we replace it with behaviors that are acceptable in our particular environment. So we develop basically a personality, or an ego self, which is a structure superimposed on top of the essential uh, part of us, our soul, if you want to call it that, which is made of essence. So we lose the direct expression of what we really are with all of the different qualities, and we become a personality, we become a facade, we become an ego structure, as we say. Yeah. So if our essential strength, the red essence, is repressed, then we will also be more likely to feel very cautious and very uh, afraid and even ashamed at times, you know. So instead of courage and strength and expansiveness and aliveness and just full presence, we become withdrawn, we become ashamed, we become fearful, we become timid, not courageous. So when we begin to explore the process of awakening courage, there are several things we need to do, several ways we can get to that red essence. But one of the main ways is actually to understand the very process itself by which the red essence became suppressed, by which we became disconnected from the red essence. So understanding the very process itself, we can actually begin to see the experiences. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember, my mother, whenever I spoke out, she would say things like, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to your mother like that. It's disrespectful to contradict your mom or your dad, or whatever it was, right? So those kinds of experiences is like as we focus on, as we explore, as we inquire into what is really happening here, what is making me feel ashamed or timid, or when I feel my courage, I just feel I don't know, fear comes up. We begin to look into all of those feelings, and as we look into them, inquire into them, we begin to understand, we begin to remember, we begin to discover, rediscover the earlier experiences that caused those blockages, caused those disconnections from our uh, essential nature. And in this particular case, of course, the red essence. So you see in the diamond approach, one of the main practices that we do is actually inquiring into how we became disconnected from our essence and removing the blockages by understanding, removing the blockages, dissolving the blockages to our nature. So that then frees up, liberates our essence to become more available. Because now the essence is like, is kind of caged into this structure of personality, of ego self, right? So it's kind of buried under all these structures. Yeah. And understanding these structures, discovering what is really in the way of this essence, and opening up these structures liberates the essence in its different qualities to arise, to come to the surface, to come to the forefront, so we can live from that place, from that essence, from that depth, from that fundamental nature that we are. It's a very natural process, which is, it's unique to the Diamond approach, actually. Most spiritual traditions, speak of the ego self, of course, in derogatory ways. And it's like it's the enemy, it's the obstacle, it's what's in the way. And it's true in a way, it is what's in the way of our essential nature. But they want to, it's like, set it aside. Or even some of them talk about killing the ego. Like, okay, good luck with that. How are you going to kill the ego? The ego is basically structures, impressions on the very substance of your soul that have replaced that naturalness of your essential nature. How are you going to kill the ego? Doesn't make sense, although I've tried, for 15 years on a different path before I discovered this one, trying to kill my ego. When I came to this path, I discovered my ego was still there. It didn't go anywhere. And many times you can see the ego actually coming out in spiritual teachers when, very, enlightened human beings that become teachers and they teach. And at some point, they do things that are actually very uncharacteristic of an enlightened person. You know? Because, and the reason why that happens is because they haven't really dealt with their ego. They haven't really worked through the different issues, the different structures of their ego self. They just had, through intensive practices, set it aside. But it's still lurking in the background, lurking in the shadows. And given the right circumstances, it will reassert itself and bite us in the face. Yeah. In many cases bite other people and hurt other people too. So that was one of the things that the founders of the Diamond Approach saw and kind of, had the question of how does one actually work with the ego in a way that is more effective? And the Diamond Approach developed as a response to that need for a more complete and more practical way to self-realization, to enlightenment, to discovering our true nature. Yeah. So the way I see that it is actually spiritual teachings have developed over thousands of years, kind of building on the older teachings and discovering something new and developing in that way. Most people don't see it that way, of course. They see that, my path is the right one. I don't. I think that, and the Diamond Approach either will grow and develop further, or it will be replaced at some point, will be something new will come that will add something more, which is the natural evolution of spirituality uh, on the planet, I think. So what does it mean to work through these structures? Huh? One of the things, of course, that I said is, remembering experientially the different experiences, the different events in our early life that created the blockages, that created the disconnection from our essential nature. Yeah. And then there is also on the other side of it, there is uh, the need to provide a corrective experience. Yeah. Like, for example, when somebody wants to express something, so as we work as a student of the Diamond Approach, for example, works with their teacher, they may come upon an experience, a memory of an experience where they felt that, as a child, I was speaking out and saying what I wanted in a bold way, in a courageous way, and maybe my father, kind of repressed me, said no. You know? So a corrective experience might be, to actually support the person to express themselves. Well, speak out now. Imagine your father in front of you and just speak out and just tell him what you wanted to tell him when you were little, And gradually you actually speak out. And, of course, you don't go yell at your father if your father is, an old man, 90-year-old man. You don't need to go and do that with your living father. But it is with your inner representation of your father that is still in there in some memory form, structure, pushing you down and not letting you be courageous, not letting you express yourself freely. with your red essence. Yeah. So providing that kind of corrective experience, we gradually develop the ability to actually or free the red essence to express itself directly without any restrictions, without any fear, without any shame, without any um, inner critic counter commands. Should not do that. Shame on you. So those are the kinds of messages that our superego, our inner critic, can give us against our red essence, our strength, our courage. So you see here, the goal is not to manufacture courage, but to awaken, liberate, free up, and embody courage as an essential quality, allowing it to come up. Yeah. So those are the kinds of things that we do, the kinds of practices and explorations and inquiries that we do in the Diamond approach. And, and in this Diamond Heart 10, actually, that is a group uh, in Boulder that is still open, accepting new students. In this next weekend that we have in July, we will actually exploring the role of courage in our process of inquiry, yeah, and inner guidance. So there is actually an inner guidance that is a spiritual guidance that is functioning within us or can function more and more freely. And the red essence and the courage is a big part of that guidance. So the guidance cannot manifest if we are not courageous to go to the difficult places in our psyche, in our soul, in our consciousness. The painful places sometimes, many times. Painful experiences from our childhood. Maybe there is some kind of abuse. Maybe that assertion that we tried as little ones was met with not just prohibition, but also maybe we were hit, we were punished harshly or rejected. I remember a student of mine was telling me that, whenever he would assert himself, his father would actually just put him out of the house in the night and leave him out in the cold. So that created, of course, a traumatic experience for this child. And it is difficult, of course, to go back and revisit those painful experiences. That's where courage comes in, to have the courage to confront that pain, to face that painful, uh, hurtful, or traumatic kind of experience. And so doing that in a community like Diamond Heart Tent, the group, where we are all together exploring and support each other in that way. So anyway, that's how the Diamond approach works, and in particular about this. Now, another thing that really happens uh, when we disconnect from our red essence at the ego self level, we can develop a false strength, and the false fake strength actually uh, manifests as anger. Anger, rage, fury, at the different levels, different intensities of anger, basically, or even annoyance, irritation. I just feel irritated, annoyed. Yeah. But if you really feel into it, it's like it is actually a level of a mild level of anger. Yeah. So one of the ways to go to the red essence, to rediscover the red essence, is to use the anger as a bridge, you know, but to do it in a way that is useful. You know, many times people think that anger is bad, and so we should not be angry. And it's true, anger can be very destructive, especially for relationships, and we can do things in anger that we will regret later on, or sometimes even illegal things, crimes, and we can go to prison for it. So anger, the expression of anger can be very problematic, you know, but feeling our anger without acting it out, that's really a very productive thing. So feeling the feeling of anger, if you go deeper into the feeling of anger, you will find that the liquid fire, that red essence. You remember many times when we see somebody or we feel angry and we feel very angry, we have even the expression, I got so angry, I saw red. Huh? What does it mean? Why do we see red? Well, because if you feel very angry, you actually feel your anger, you can actually experience the red essence. Yeah? So the red essence is actually at the very core of the anger, but it's distorted through the ego structures. And instead of clean assertiveness, cleanly saying, no to somebody that maybe is abusive to you, you get angry. Maybe you don't speak out right away, you don't really set the boundary and um, protect yourself in a useful, appropriate way. And that kind of repression gradually builds up and it comes out in a distorted way as anger. So learning to work with our anger in a productive way, in a useful way, transforming the anger into strength is a way that we work with it in the Diamond approach. There is a question. It says, is anger the outward manifestation? Let me see. The outward manifestation of the battle between the ego and our true nature? Yeah, you can see it that way. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's an outer manifestation of that. You can, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Uh-huh. So the anger is actually a distortion of the red essence coming out in this kind of way that is not useful, is not usable. It's destructive, basically. But if we learn to actually dive into it, explore it, inquire into it, and understand it in a way that dissolves the anger and takes us into the essence, then there will be an appropriate expression of that red essence, of that strength, of that courage, without the destructiveness of the anger. So, working with the red essence, of course, is a big thing. We spend a lot of time, actually, days and days and retreats working with it. But here in this webinar, of course, I'm giving you a taste of the whole thing. So we are seeing really what courage is, how it is related to the heart and the red essence. It's interesting, actually. I forgot to tell you that the red essence, all the different qualities of our essential nature, they have a particular seat, a center, a controlling center. And it's interesting that the red essence is actually on the right side of the heart. That's where the controlling center of the red essence is. and the yellow essence is in the chest also, and the green essence is in the chest, and the love essence is there. So the heart is the seed of many different qualities. But it's quite fascinating that it's not only the seed of love and compassion and joy. There are all kinds of qualities of love, if you look at those. But it's also the seed for the red essence, the strength, the courage. Anyway, in the diamond approach, of course, we uh, emphasize the experiential part, aspect of the exploration. So I would like to give you an exercise that, I will put you into breakout rooms, and you can go in there and explore in dyads, two people together. Let's see how many of us are here. There is 14. If you all stay here, there will be 7 dyads. And you can just explore uh, your experience with courage. Where are you with courage? And we will do that in the form of 2 repeating questions. Yeah, that's one format that we use in the diamond approach. For those of you who are not familiar with it, I will tell you a little bit about it. Basically, you will be in a breakout room with another person, and one of you will set your timer on your cell phone, probably for 10 minutes, and you will ask the other person the question repeatedly. The question is, tell me a way your courage is blocked. Tell me a way your courage is blocked. Oh, I just get scared when I want to do something, certain kinds of things. Yeah. Or, okay, thank you. Tell me a way your courage is blocked. Um, well, my courage is blocked when it comes to this and this and this particular thing. You know, thank you. Tell me a way your courage is blocked. Well, my courage actually is blocked. Oh, it's blocked when I deal with, interact with certain people. I don't have any courage with certain people. Thank you. Tell me a way your courage is blocked. Oh, the kinds of people that I feel lack of courage with is authority figures. Hmm. They remind me of my father. Yeah. And you explore like that. Now, the person who is asking the question, you just simply ask the question. You don't change the question. You don't interfere in any way. You don't encourage the other person. You don't discourage them. You don't even make facial expressions that, are encouraging or discouraging. So you let them explore freely for themselves. So you keep repeating the question for 10 minutes. They answer, you say thank you, repeat the question 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is up, you switch. Then the other person will ask you and you will answer. Okay? So in a very clean way like that. So once both of you have done the first question, so that will be 10 minutes each way, so it's 20 minutes, then you will go to the second question. Tell me a way you experience courage. Tell me a way you experience courage. Well, I experience courage as a kind of a deep kind of an expansiveness in my chest. As it's hot, it's heat, it's kind of you know expansive. Thank you. Tell me where you experience courage. Well, I experience courage, in when I confront somebody about their lies, about me. When somebody has lied about me, I have the courage to go and face them and say, hey, why did you say that about me? It's not true. Thank you. Tell me where you experience courage. Well, I experience courage actually whenever I stand up for the truth. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Tell me where you experience courage. So you continue like that again for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, you switch, and the other person will do the question, answer the question, and so on. So that will be 40 minutes, and then we will take a 10-minute break, and then we will come back to the main room. Basically, the breakout rooms will close. I'll close the breakout rooms at 50 minutes, and then we will engage in our Q&C.